Good afternoon. Hot and sweaty out here, so I got a towel on my head. Stop sweat from dripping in my eyes. Okay, today I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to make simple batteries at home. And if you chain them together, you can add up the voltage, and if you make them bigger and add more coils of copper, more surface, you can get more amperage. And this is a tester system before I make some really big examples of the same kind of batteries. I'd like to ideally get up to a couple thousand amp hours of storage built into a battery bank. So to make this battery is really simple. And if you take a look at the multimeter, we're showing 5.7 volts, and that's on this one right here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, is something just like that. So what we need, I got a little piece of copper pipe. Bent old pipe from the bathroom will do. You don't have to go buy new copper pipe. If you have new copper pipe, that works too. This is a piece of aluminum pipe, but you don't need to use aluminum pipe. You look over here in this one, instead of aluminum pipe, I just used aluminum foil. And I made kind of a circle on the inside and then filled it with some filler and some salt water. In this case, I used charcoal, just common charcoal, smashed it up a little bit with a mortar and pestle and threw it in there, a little bit of salt water. And if I take the stuff off here, you can see I've got aluminum foil, piece of copper pipe, charcoal, and salt water. And if we check, now just running a voltage check on this puppy. Oops. So first, if you look at the voltmeter, it's 0. Now, as I connect it, positive lead goes into the copper pipe, just touching the copper, nothing fancy. Negative lead, touching the aluminum foil. That's just common household aluminum foil from your kitchen. And we're showing about a half a volt. Now, other examples that I've got going on here. This one is just a mixture of a little bit of sand, a little bit of salt water, piece of aluminum pipe, and a piece of copper. So again, look at the multimeter. We can see we're reading 0. Still reading 0. Connect it up. And there again we've got 5.8 volts, 5.7 volts. Now in the third one here, I've got sand, water, aluminum, and copper. So there's my aluminum negative, my copper positive. Again, you can see we've got 5.5 volts on the multimeter. Okay, now to build these things, right, take my multimeter off of there, get all my togetherness leads out of the way. So I've got just the bottom end of a Coke bottle. Sand, gravel, charcoal, whatever's handy. And this just keeps your pieces of pipe from rubbing into each other. So I stick some my aluminum pipe on that side, and I dump in some sand. I stick my copper pipe on this side, and I keep dumping in the sand. That's just common sand. In fact, if you look right over there, you'll see a pile of sand, and that's where I dug the sand out of. So bottom half of a 1.5 liter Coke bottle of sand. Nothing fancy. Right? So I've got sand, aluminum, or sand, aluminum, and copper. Now if you look at the multimeter, negative lead in the aluminum, positive lead in the copper. I don't even have any fluid in there yet. No electrolyte. That's just reacting through the sand. And this is just common water, rainwater from a puddle. I just put a little bit of that in there, just because it helps the conductivity of the whole thing. You'll notice the voltage dropped just a little bit when I added the water. So there we go. We've got a minute to soak down. So we're showing again around 5.5 volts. Now, if you want to get more power out of this stuff, take my leads out. Now these are just two pieces, a piece of wire with a couple of alligator clips on it. So we go from copper, aluminum, copper, aluminum, and this is the one I used tin foil instead of aluminum pipe. Copper, aluminum, and then I take my leads. Okay, so check the multimeter. We're showing 0 volts. Okay, negative goes in the aluminum. All right, still showing 0 volts. Now it goes in the copper. Now I've put 4 of these together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm getting 1 volt. 1 volt.
1 voltage.
Yeah, but I should be getting 2. Yeah, I was on the wrong setting on the multimeter. 2.16 volts. Right, so 0 volts, 4 together, half, 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 2.16. So there's 2 volts of power. That's a little bit better than your average DC battery. The difference is these will last a lot longer than the battery in your flashlight. Okay, so these will last until the aluminum is completely dissolved. Right? The process is the oxidization of the aluminum. So until the aluminum is completely dissolved, these will keep generating electricity. Now you can do the same thing with a pop can, a soda can, a Coke can, a beer can, because it's an aluminum can. Cut off the top, put in a piece of copper pipe, put a little piece of cardboard on the bottom so your copper doesn't touch the side or the bottom of the can. And I'll do that in our next video. And again, you can generate the same. The only problem is the process eats the aluminum. So in about 7 weeks, your battery's going to die as it starts eating holes in the aluminum. As it starts eating holes in the aluminum, and your battery starts to leak. So that's it, guys. Homemade batteries. Okay, now you can chain these together in a small size like this and build them up to about 12 volts. and power an LED light bulb, or you can build them bigger and chain them together. The surface area of the copper will determine how much amperage you can get out of the system, right? So the more surface area we get, the more amperage you can get. And this was proof of concept. My intention is to build a 1000 amp or a 2000 amp storage battery. The nice thing about this is the energy density. The energy density of aluminum copper, we get pretty close to 8,000 units, which is, for energy density, is really, really dense. So, and like I said, this will run as it is without modification. We can come back in a week or 2 weeks or 7 weeks, and this will still be generating voltage, still generating power. And it doesn't need to be recharged. When it finally starts to wear out and you start to get dead cells in your battery, just replace the aluminum. And it's completely recharged again. So that's it for this one. Say goodbye for now. Welcome to Gene's channel, and have a good one.